You know what? Today I feel perfectly comfortable in the kitchen for a change because we're talking about milk. And it is that time of year when the annual milk calendar is going to make its appearance in your newspaper coming up this weekend, and we get to sample a couple of the recipes from this year's calendar. Korey joins us in the studio again. Good to have you back.
Thank you for having me.
I absolutely love this calendar. And you know what? I was going to bring along because I keep the milk calendars like cookbooks, and I've got stacks of them at home that are all dog-eared and ripped from going through and picking out the kids' favorites. And you know, I've got things written in the side of them saying this was really good, and little notes to myself.
It's a real history keeper too. Yeah, a memoir of what was going on in life too, and it's fun to look back on them too, to see how things have changed and the new trends that go each year, and you go, oh yeah, I remember when that came out. So that's fun.
You know what, it's interesting that you say that, the new trends, because that's true. With the milk calendar, you do notice that there are certain trends that happen through the years, and there were ones that were lighter and fair, you know, because we were a little more concerned, a little more calorie conscious maybe at that point. Others maybe a little richer and fair. Is there kind of a theme for this year's calendar?
Well, as always, they're really family-friendly recipes that are easy to make, but there are some new twists. Like there's this soup that we're making is the November 2009, and this is a Fiesta chicken soup, and it's really good because it's a Southwest style. So that's very popular. Mexican, Tex-Mex, very popular. We're making a Tex-Mex cheese biscuit as well to go along with the soup. So that's a new thing. And then there's curries, there's a Thai pork stir fry. So some more flavors and spices. And the key ingredient is always the milk. And milk makes it very smooth, adds the nutrition, and you always have it in your fridge. So it's one of those staple ingredients that you can...
you never have to sell me on the milk, because my dad was a cream producer. So we always had milk and cream and butter and cheese and all those great things along. And I still love them all to this day.
I know. Well, it's all good. Now what we're doing here for our soup is I've sauteed some onions and red pepper with some chili powder, and then we're going to add some tomato paste to this, about a quarter cup, and this is going to thicken it up. Now this soup is it's like a creamy chicken soup with chili. It's delicious. And then we'll mix this up, and we're going to add 2 cups of chicken broth. Okay, and you can see, and those little bits on the bottom from the onions, those are delicious little flavor parcels that you just want to release and scrape it up. That is so good. It's going to add a lot of flavor.
Smells absolutely amazing. And I know my kids love anything Mexican, you know, the tacos and the enchiladas and all of that, so the soup would be great.
It is, and it's going to get nice and thick, and we're going to thicken it up with some flour that we're adding to our cold milk, and then you whisk it until the lumps are gone. And doing it this way makes it smooth, so you won't have any lumps. Okay, and then we're going to add this to our pot once it's incorporated, and stir it up, and you're going to bring it to a low simmer. You don't want it to boil, because we're going to be adding our chicken in here, raw chicken, and it's going to poach in the milk. So if you boil it, it's going to make it tough. So to just add it to a low simmer, and then it cooks for about 8 minutes, maybe 10 minutes, until it's just no longer pink.
I don't think I've ever added a raw chicken to a soup. It's always the cut up, diced, cooked chicken that you put in.
Well, that's the thing, is the milk calendar is geared towards the busy person who doesn't even have time to saute the chicken. You don't even need to. While your onions are softening, you can just chop up your chicken, and then you're putting it in all at once. And then you walk away for 10 minutes and do something else that was important. And you come back, and voila, you have delicious dinner.
Look at that.
Okay, so we're going to let that go for a bit. And
so in the meantime, then you could get the biscuits started while that's going.
This is off the baking page. In the calendar, there's the 13 calendar recipes, and then there's a baking page with this bundt cake that we see there, the dark chocolate, and then these tea biscuits are on it, and then there's a couple muffin recipes, which everybody needs a new recipe for muffins.
See, it always starts off with part of that baking page. That's the first thing you see with all the sweets and treats and everything there, and it's,
I know.
You had me at the baking page.
It's an important part of life.
Beautiful, though, the bundt cake.
So we just have some flour and cornmeal, and we're adding some sugar and baking powder, baking soda, and some salt. We're going to mix it up, and all these recipes too are online this year, which is great.
That's what you were telling me, and along with that, it's also the cooking demo itself, so you can kind of follow along or watch you do it online and see how it should be done.
Yes, if you're visual and you and you want to watch, each calendar recipe will have a video demonstrating it. There's 3 online now, and then you'll have to keep checking back each month to see the updated one as they go. And then also online, I have a video on there with my my kids and I. We're making this recipe, the chicken fingers, the crispy baked chicken fingers.
What a great idea.
With zesty Caesar dressing. And it's a back-to-school recipe. It's September, and I think it's a really good time to kind of regroup. Everyone's coming off the summer, and you know you need to feed your kids well and yourself well, but how do you do it? So you can just see how simple it is when you have your calendar recipes.
And just a good reminder to get the kids involved with the cooking too, because you know it's important for them to know what's in their food and how they're putting it all together, and give them the skills.
Exactly. And so we're adding some shredded Canadian cheddar.
As my son says, you can never have too much cheese in anything, Mom.
I am with him on that. Yeah, cheese is really important. It makes you feel good. So I'm going to stir this up, and I'll get you to add some vinegar to the milk, and then we're adding more chili powder. Now, with every recipe, you'll find tips for the adventurous, and there's nutrition evaluations at the bottom that you'll see.
Okay.
And new this year, too, at the bottom of each page, there's milk facts that are really fun, things you didn't know about milk, like that it's 90% water. And so not only does it have all the vitamin D and calcium, it's also a great hydrator.
Now I'm putting all the chili in?
Yeah, you can put all that in there. And then the tips for the adventurous, and this recipe might say add jalapeno peppers to your Tex-Mex cheese biscuit, or reduce the chili. And did you put the vinegar in?
I did.
Okay, so you can pour that in here. Now this is a drop biscuit. So again, really user-friendly, great starting place for baking. So you don't have to knead or roll this out. You're just going to stir this up, and it makes a nice dough. And then you're just dropping the dough onto a baking sheet that's either lined with parchment or greased with butter.
And again, perfect for the kids. Just put it on, and away they go.
And they freeze so well. Like, so work ahead. And one of the things, like, I know how quick and easy these are, because one morning I made 4 from between the time I dropped my daughter off and picked her up. I made 4 recipes back to back because I was testing them to make sure they were as good as, you know, they look, and they are. But I froze a lot of it because I had bulk cooked. I thought, well, this is just good planning. I should be doing this all the time. Take one day a week and do 4 or 5 recipes and freeze them.
And I was just talking to somebody who said that her Sundays are her day that she sits down and she'll do a bunch of recipes and freeze them, because during the week they're so busy that when they get home, and you know what happens when you get home, the kids just want to eat. They just want dinner right ready on the table for them.
Yes, they're starving, and so if they can go in the freezer and pull out one of these cheese biscuits or a muffin or a piece of, there's a really good up-to-date carrot cake too, which is really quite good.
Well, this is good because you've got the corn in that there too, so they're getting a little bit of vegetable, they're getting their cheese. It looks wonderful.
Yep, it's really good. And they could even be doing this while you're simmering your soup. Now, okay, so our soup is come to a little simmer. The chicken, you can see it's cooking. It's firm, but it's going to be totally tender. And then the finishing touches is you're adding frozen corn and then some corn tortillas that have been baked. Like just chips. And those are in place of the noodle, and they add that really great Southwest flavor. This soup is so satisfying to eat. Like, it's just one of those, you eat it and you think, oh,
it's perfect for a day like this. We've got the rain outside. It's kind of this falls into that comfort food category where, you know, with a biscuit and a nice bowl of warm soup, just makes you feel great.
It does.
Well, we should let people know that locally, the Kitchener Record, the Guelph Mercury, they're all going to have the milk calendar in them this Saturday, and it's absolutely free. So be watching for it. And the recipes, as you mentioned, also online at mymilkcalendar.ca. You can go online and get some of the recipes there and preview and watch Korey do some cooking for you and know exactly how it should be done. That's fabulous.
Yeah, thank you. You want to try the soup? There's some there ready for you.
Do I want to try this? It's even,
and there's cake too. Boy, the cake.
Oh, let's give it a try. Oh, on a cold, soggy day, this is just fabulous. Korey, thank you for joining us.
Thank you.
All the recipes available in the 2009 Milk Calendar, so watch for yours coming up this weekend. I'm going to enjoy this, and we'll be back in a moment. Stay with us.